Dude, versus Ciryl Gane, that's very interesting.
For sure. And I know the power is going to translate over to heavyweight. That's not going anywhere. He'll be able to flatline heavyweights.
100%, especially with zero weight cut.
Yeah. He's probably 230, 240 walking around. 230 something maybe.
He's 240.
Yeah, dude, come on.
He's 240 walking around.
That's a legit heavyweight. He's
a
big,
legit
tall,
heavyweight.
long.
Fucking guy fought at 85.
But so is Ciryl, man.
Cyryl's good.
An athlete heavyweight, not just a big guy fighting at heavyweight. He's a legit heavyweight.
To be fair, that's all Alex Pereira's done, right? He had a quick rise through the middleweight division for Alex Pereira, and since then, it was Pereira time. Anytime he fought, he was the main event on the pay-per-view. The whole world went into a frenzy. Channels all over the place, knockouts galore, and a schedule that was insane, right? So he deserves all the accolades. And I know in the past, I might have bet against him because the first time Magomed Ankalaev beat him, I thought the possible anxiety from fighting Pereira and the power, that's gone. He's going to be more aggressive this time and better with the wrestling. But he got smoked. He got smoked in 69 seconds or something like that. So that's why I picked against him. I'm not hating on the guy. What he's done is phenomenal. If he beats or loses to Ciryl Gane, who does he fight next? Well, he still thinks he's got a good chance of facing John Jones because John Jones, Dana talked about it recently. He said he's done. He's got arthritis and all this, and John Jones came out and had a bit of a tweet and delete storm on Twitter, right? You never know. John Jones might come back because, as Pereira said, he's under contract. They're not going to release him from contract. And if John Jones gets that itch and gets that scratch, listen, I'd still love to see it. And Pereira still wants to fight John Jones. And that would be something unbelievable. And if Pereira goes off and becomes a 3-weight division champion, right? John Jones might want to come back, and Dana and the UFC and Hunter and everyone might go, you know what, he can be a liability, but dude, we got...
Yeah, this got to be Cyryl's last crack at a title, right? Like, this will be his 5th chance at an interim or undisputed. He won the interim one against Derek Lewis, but the rest is being, no contests or losses. I know the division is thin, and I know it's rough, but, like, I can't imagine a world where he gets a 6th chance if he loses this.
Yeah, and that too, we just spoke about it with the first fight. Again, when the division is rough, it just makes it look like, the title fights aren't as exciting because the rest of the division is rough. So it almost looks like, well, who else is there to fight for this except for these two guys? So there is a little bit of that involved in this fight. But again, I don't want to take anything away from the fight because, like I said, Alex is probably going to go down as the greatest fighter we've ever seen if he can pull this off. Ciryl Gane is an absolute stud, and he's capable of being great. He hasn't really done that and showed us that yet in the big moments. So because he hasn't showed us in the big moments, that's why I'm not putting this higher. He hasn't done that, but he has the potential to do that now. That they fought, like, who has Alex fought that moves like Ciryl Gane? Like, we don't even know how. I mean, maybe we can go back to his kickboxing days and see something, but we haven't seen it in MMA. And then for Ciryl Gane, like, we haven't seen him face a guy quite like this, right? And the only thing that we've seen him face that was similar to this, it's not in style, but it's in aura, John Jones, and he completely folded. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on fight, and this is in the White House too, man. So so that's another factor for Ciryl Gane that I'm a little concerned with, because if he can't deal with like being at the White House and fighting a big fight like this, then man.
In a timeline that defies every conventional expectation, the combat sports universe finds itself bracing for a spectacle of unprecedented proportions. Absolutely no one could have predicted the sheer magnitude of this moment, yet reality has eclipsed imagination. Alex Pereira is set to clash with Ciryl Gane, and the battleground is none other than the White House. It is a setting that instantly elevates a mere mixed martial arts contest into a global cultural phenomenon. The mere thought of these two titans trading blows against such a historic backdrop sends shockwaves through the fighting world. This is no longer just a sanctioned bout. It is a monumental collision designed to captivate a mainstream audience, testing not just the physical limits of the fighters, but their ability to perform under a blinding, historic spotlight.
Question outside your own fight. You've always been very, very staunchly in the belief that interim champion is a champion.
Facts.
So does that mean guaranteed Alex Pereira goes up to heavyweight?
He's a champion.
He's
a champion.
3-weight head champion.
The fuck interim. Like, you can't tell me a guy gets a belt. Like,
interim, look up the word interim, what it means. In the meantime, in the interim, he is the champion. So as well, like my belts have how many rubies on them. People try and like discredit it and be like, oh well, one of them was interim. I'm like, well, come take it away. Come take it away from me. But yeah, he's gonna be the champion, and then he's gonna have a super fight with John Jones, and that'll be a big ass fight too. But that's still the White House.
You should be negotiating for John Jones then, because it doesn't sound like they're getting to the right money there.
Really, they'll find a way. The UFC and the brass over there, they always, and the fighters as well, they butt heads with the managers. But we always get there in the end.
As the narrative surrounding this fight deepens, a terrifying realization is taking hold across the analyst community. Alex Pereira is not simply moving up in weight, he is arriving at his true physical form. Stripped of the grueling, life-draining weight cuts that defined his terrifying run through the middleweight and light heavyweight divisions, Pereira now roams the earth as a 240-pound force of nature. Pundits and breakdown artists, including MMA Guru, emphasize that Pereira is no longer an oversized middleweight. He is a natural, towering heavyweight whose legendary, earth-shattering power is fully expected to translate devastatingly to this new division. Without the depletion of a weight cut, his chin is sturdier, his stamina is preserved, and his ability to separate consciousness from the giants of the sport is an absolute certainty.
The storylines going into this, I mean, Ciryl Gane, I have a real concern for Tom right now. And I am on Tom's side. I want to make sure my words are clear, but I have a real concern because he is scratching the surface of a road that so many guys go down and they never come back. 1 year ago today, Tom wants to compete and he doesn't understand it. John wants a bunch of money. He's looking at the UFC going, you got a contract with the guy, get him in the ring. And that mindset appears to be gone. All of a sudden, it's not about competition. Now it's about money. And now all of a sudden, it's not about, hey guys, thanks for everything you've done for me. It's, hey guys, I'm being told by other people, you haven't done enough for me. When you go down that road, there's no coming back. And I only share that with you. It's very relevant. As we go into Pereira versus Gane, the story of the White House is that we could have our first ever champ, but people are saying no. They're saying the interim belt doesn't count, and that's not a fight that I want to have.
Standing across the octagon from Pereira's raw destruction is a puzzle that defies traditional heavyweight logic. Ciryl Gane is not merely a large man throwing heavy leather. He is a supreme athlete who moves with the fluidity and grace of a middleweight. Analysts frequently highlight that Pereira, despite all his kickboxing accolades, has never faced a mixed martial artist quite like Gane. The Frenchman represents a stylistic enigma, utilizing lateral movement, distance management, and a technical striking acumen that is arguably the cleanest in the division's history. It is a fascinating clash of philosophies. The inevitable stalking pressure of Pereira against the evasive, lightning-fast technical brilliance of Gane.
Put my sword down. Apparently, I'm the only one that care. I don't care what comes in front of world champion. If it ends in world champion, I believe it counts. But if our community doesn't, fine. I'm just here to tell you, history is a way to repeat itself. And when people like to say that Tom is the undisputed champion, they have very short-term memories. Because if I was to say, did he win that? I go, are you sure? I say, did he defend that? Are you sure? Like, people would have to kind of remember and go, well, no, I guess he was an interim and I guess he was elevated. Right thing to do. But if history does repeat itself and Tom does go down this road, if Tom doesn't come back, the significance of Ciryl versus Pereira is going to be huge. The significance of that fight, if one ends up elevated to undisputed champion, which is what just happened to us 5 months ago in the very division. There is so much on this card, but sometimes it comes out.
When breaking down the tactical architecture of this fight, former champion Michael Bisping points out a crucial dynamic that makes this matchup an absolute dream for the fans. Unlike many highly anticipated heavyweight clashes that inevitably devolve into grueling wrestling matches or stalling against the fence, this bout guarantees a pure, unadulterated striking war. There is a palpable sense of relief among striking purists that Pereira will not be facing the immediate, suffocating grappling threat that a fighter like John Jones would present. Instead, fans are promised a high-stakes chess match played with 4-ounce gloves. It is a battle where both men possess the capability to end the night in a fraction of a second, ensuring that the audience remains suspended in tension from the opening bell to the final horn.
fight deal. Of course, the first fight on that deal will be against Ciryl Gane for the heavyweight title, the interim heavyweight title. Now, the old cliche in combat sports is I don't want to look past my opponent because, you know, I'm focused on Ciryl Gane, and he should be, because that's a tough fight. But it's a very winnable fight. It's a very compelling, fun matchup. A lot of people came out talking shit to me because I said it might be a better matchup than Jon Jones. The reason I said that, and it's pretty goddamn obvious, is because it will be a striking affair, right? People didn't love the BMF because Charles Oliveira dominated the fight on the ground. And more than likely, I'm not being disrespectful to Pereira, you got to think that's what Jon Jones would do. He would take him down. And if Pereira could defend the submissions, it'll look like the BMF, right? And everyone booed. Everyone talked shit. Even Dana White didn't.
While Pereira and Gane prepare to wage war, an immense shadow looms over the entire event, the ghost of Jon Jones. The narrative of this interim title fight is inextricably linked to the undisputed king. Analysts universally agree that the ultimate prize for the victor is not just the gold wrapped around their waist, but the golden ticket to a legacy-defining super fight with Jones. Despite whispers of retirement and unpredictable social media storms, the consensus remains that a victory for a star as massive as Pereira could force the UFC brass and Jones himself to the negotiating table. The White House showdown is, in many ways, the ultimate audition to secure what could be the most lucrative and historic blockbuster event in the history of combat sports.
So based upon that knowledge, this makes for a better fan-pleasing matchup. But yeah, I'm a dickhead if I say that, right? Jesus Christ, you just can't win. So anyway, Ciryl Gane, who knows, right? Who knows if he wins that fight? We don't know. But he's still convinced that he's going to fight Jon Jones one day, because regardless of whether or not he beats Ciryl Gane, which is a tough fight, and if he does beat him, he becomes a 3-weight division champion. Does that automatically make him the most successful UFC fighter of all time? Because on paper it does. But when you look at the matchups, does it make him the best? Does that make his career more impressive than Jon Jones, than George St. Pierre, than Anderson Silva, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson? I don't know, but it's certainly a topic of conversation. Let me know your thoughts on that. But if he beats him, and even if he doesn't beat him, right, who is he gonna fight? Because that kind of paycheck, he's gonna be involved in nothing but blockbuster fights.
Beneath the glitz in the historic venue, a darker, more complex storyline is brewing regarding the state of modern mixed martial arts. Elite fighters like Charles Oliveira have voiced genuine concern over a fundamental shift in the sport's culture. There is a growing sentiment that the pure, primordial desire to compete against the absolute best is slowly being overshadowed by financial holdouts and boardroom politics. The convoluted situation involving Jon Jones, the sidelined Tom Aspinall, and this newly minted interim title serves as a perfect microcosm of this shift. Analysts point out that the business side of the sport is threatening to eclipse the competitive integrity, leaving fighters and fans navigating a landscape where money and outside influence dictate the crowning of champions.
No, how can you not love watching Alex fight? Like, he's carried the UFC on his back for almost 2 years, and he's done such great things, and the fact that he's moving up is incredibly noble. And he's taken on Ciryl Gane, who is a legit heavyweight that I think stylistically presents problems to him, and I think it's a great fight, but it's just something had to be at number 4. And there's something about it that and it might just be, again, maybe that lingering Tom Aspinall effect over the whole thing, like Tom watching from the sidelines, watching two guys fight for his position. I don't want to say his belt, but his position. And I think something about that might kind of weigh it down a little bit from rising up a little.
The debate surrounding the validity of the interim championship has sparked fierce division among experts. Yet some voices cut through the noise with absolute clarity. Israel Adesanya stands as a passionate defender of the interim title's legitimacy, vehemently rejecting any notion of placing an asterisk next to the achievement. The argument is fundamentally simple. An interim champion is a true champion holding the fort, while the undisputed king is unavailable. If Alex Pereira vanquishes Gane, the history books must recognize him as a 3-division UFC title holder. Ciryl Gane reinforces this perspective by reminding the combat sports community that history routinely repeats itself. Interim titles frequently and quietly evolve into undisputed honors, making the stakes of this fight as real and permanent as any in the sport's history.
Pereira going up to heavyweight is something that's been long discussed, and I guess the big thing is, like, is he going for history? Is he not? It's the interim belt. Like, if he wins this fight, are you going to consider him the first 3-division UFC champion, or does he have to get promoted?
I would.
Yeah?
I would. Like, yeah, I absolutely would.
Even though it's interim.
Even though it's interim. I mean, like, interim, like, yes, like, the difference is just putting a word in front of it. But it's like Ciryl Gane is still champion. Well, and that's another thing too, right? What we have to find out is Ciryl Gane championship level material. Like, skill wise, I do believe he is, but mentally and, you know, just emotionally and with his entire being, is he championship level material? And that's what we want to find out, because we've seen him lose against Francis, where he went in the fight, but just made the silly mistake at the end. And then we saw him completely lay an egg against John Jones. And that's not championship level material, but he's seemed to have matured into it. Now, when he was fighting Tom Aspinall, he showed championship level material fighting, even though it was a little dirty. And that's another thing. Can he fight cleanly with championship level material?
Alex Pereira's trajectory in the UFC has evolved from a spectacular rise into a genuine quest for mythical status. Din Thomas eloquently captures the sentiment that Pereira has essentially carried the entire promotion on his back for nearly 2 years, stepping in to save cards and delivering viral knockouts at an exhausting pace. By daring to move up to the heavyweight realm, Pereira is not just chasing another payday, he is chasing immortality. Capturing a title in a third weight class is a feat so extraordinarily rare that it automatically catapults a fighter into the deepest conversations regarding the greatest combat athlete of all time. It is a noble, terrifying challenge that cements Pereira's legacy as a fighter willing to risk everything for absolute greatness. While Ciryl Gane's physical tools are unquestionable, severe doubts linger regarding his psychological fortitude when the pressure reaches its absolute zenith. Analysts like Din Thomas look back at Gane's crucial missteps, the tactical errors that cost him the fight against Francis Ngannou, and the rapid, seemingly capitulating submission loss to John Jones. These moments have led to deep, uncomfortable questions about whether the Frenchman possesses the ruthless, unbreakable mentality required to be a true heavyweight champion. Facing a man like Pereira, whose stoic aura and lethal power have broken the wills of lesser men before they even step into the cage, will be the ultimate litmus test for Gane. He must prove that his mind is as sharp and impenetrable as his striking technique. For Ciryl Gane, the gleaming lights of the White House cast a harsh, unforgiving glare on his career timeline. Influential voices like Mike Brown and Michael Bisping look at the grim reality of Gane's championship pursuits. After multiple attempts at undisputed gold that ended in bitter frustration, this interim title fight feels dangerously like a final opportunity. The heavyweight division is notoriously unforgiving, and the political landscape of matchmaking makes it nearly impossible to envision a scenario where a fighter receives a sixth chance at glory. There is a palpable sense of desperation woven into Gane's preparation. He is fighting not just for a belt, but for his permanent place in the sport's hierarchy, knowing fully well that a loss here likely closes the door on his championship dreams forever. Diving deep into the specific stylistic interactions of this bout reveals a chess match played on a razor's edge. Analysts like Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo emphasize the sheer difficulty of solving the Ciryl Gane puzzle, noting his exceptional durability and evasive footwork. However, MMA Guru points to Pereira's systematic approach, specifically his devastating, fight-altering low kicks, as the primary weapon that will anchor Gane to the canvas and strip away his mobility. In the heavyweight division, taking a clean shot from someone with the raw, bone-crushing power of a Francis Ngannou or an Alex Pereira is an entirely different reality than anything experienced in lighter classes. The margins for error are microscopic, one perfect read, one slight overextension will instantly end the night. Beyond the physical danger lies the immense, crushing weight of the environment itself. The experts are deeply divided on how the historic White House setting will impact the fighter's central nervous systems. While Pereira has proven time and time again that he is impervious to external pressure, functioning with the cold calculation of an assassin, Gane's ability to handle this specific type of atmospheric warfare remains entirely unproven. This is a stage that transcends traditional mixed martial arts arenas. It is a globally televised spectacle steeped in political and cultural gravity. The battle will be won not just by the man with the better game plan, but by the man who refuses to be swallowed whole by the overwhelming magnitude of the moment. When the dust finally settles and the cage doors open, the reverberations of this single outcome will fundamentally rewrite the future of the heavyweight division. Chael Sonnen astutely points out that the result of this matchup possesses the power to overshadow every other storyline in the sport. A victory for Pereira creates an unprecedented logjam, elevating a former middleweight to the pinnacle of the heavyweight mountain and forcing the promotion to address his newfound supremacy. Conversely, a victory for Gane resurrects his status as the ultimate active heavyweight threat, finally validating his undeniable talent with a defining, monumental victory. Whichever man gets his hand raised will instantly become the architect of the division's new era, leaving the rest of the heavyweight roster scrambling to adapt to the new reality.